Hi there, I'm Champion Trader Kevin Davey, and today I'm going to talk to you about the ups and the downs of trading. So let's get started. Now, if you've been trading for a while, whether it's discretionary trading, algo trading, systems trading, whatever, you've probably experienced a lot of ups and downs. And it probably feels like you're riding on a roller coaster. And that's a scary thing sometimes, especially when it comes to money. And losing money, when you're going down on that roller coaster, it doesn't feel so good. You want to be going up, right? So there's definitely some toll, some emotional, psychological toll that you have to pay when you're trading. And I always find it funny when people who trade or supposedly trade say, oh, you should do algo trading because there's no emotions in that. Guess what? It's complete nonsense. There are definitely a lot of emotions that come into play when you're algo trading. They might just be different than if you're a screen trader. But the bottom line is, if there's real money involved, there's going to be emotion and there's going to be psychology that comes into play. And you might think, well, okay, well, Kevin's got the emotion part down and he doesn't really worry too much about it. But I want to give you an example from 2022 that will show you that emotions do play a role. And the market I'm going to look at is lumber. And if you've been following the lumber market at all, you know it's been reaching new highs, and then it kind of crashed a little bit in fall of 2021, then it went back up again. But I created an algo to trade it, and I was pretty happy because I had never had an algo to trade lumber. Lumber's a pretty hard market to trade because it's so thin. There's just not a lot of participants. So if you want to get in the market, you usually have to give up a lot in price. And that's what I call slippage. And in an algo, when you have a lot of slippage, that means you need to have really good trades to overcome that. And for years, in the case of lumber, I just wasn't able to overcome it. But I finally came up with a strategy that can trade lumber. And I put it into play in January of 2022. And it started out working pretty well for me, but then the market turned and I experienced what's called a locked limit move, meaning the price moves down as much as it can, which is set by the exchange, and no trading takes place because it basically falls as much as it possibly can. And the scary part about this is it happened day after day. So there were a few days where it was a limit down move, but there was still some trading during the day, but eventually it locked at the low price. And then there were 3 days in a row where it just kept going down. So I watched a pretty big open profit turn into a pretty big open loss. And I was still following the algo, but I didn't know where the bottom was going to be. And it was kind of scary. But then what happened is the market turned around and we had 5 locked limit up days and a couple other limit up days. So all of a sudden my big gain turned to a big loss and then turned to an even bigger gain. And the emotions involved in that are tremendous. Even for me, with this system, I was only trading one contract. So it wasn't a huge percentage of my equity, but when it was doing limit up and limit down, it was about $5,000 a day. And there's a kind of weird feeling when you start out the day and you're down $5,000 right at the beginning and it doesn't move from there. That's not a nice feeling. So even when it went up to 5,000, it wasn't like I felt that great, because a lot of that was just making back what I had lost. Long story short, this algo for this market was just too much to handle emotionally. I just didn't like it. So I ended up getting out, and even though it was a good strategy, and even though I ended up with a good profit on that particular trade, I found that the emotions involved were just too much of a roller coaster, too much up and down, and I ended up turning off the algo. So that's a real example of a real algo that emotionally I couldn't handle. But when you look at the equity chart and you look at the history, you'd say, oh yeah, I can trade that. But I'll tell you what, living it is a lot different than looking at it in backtest. So keep that in mind. Altogether, I was in the market for 30 trading days, and 14 of the days the price went up and I made $2,000 or more in each of those days. And then 13 days I actually lost $2,000. So you can imagine it's up, 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 down, 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 up, 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 down, down, down. And it just wreaks havoc with your emotions. So my advice to you, before you start trading any algo system, take a look at that equity curve and take a look at the drawdowns involved and make sure you can handle it. One piece of advice I always give people is, imagine that you're walking on the equity curve. So you're climbing the mountain and then you fall down into a drawdown. And try to imagine how you'd feel during those drawdown periods. Most people don't. They just worry about the up periods and see how much money they would have made. But it's the down periods that are going to kill you. So my lessons here: 1, emotions can definitely impact your algo trading, so don't forget that. 2, keep mind of those historical drawdowns because they can really hurt you. And then 3, watch out for those thin markets. Lumber's a thin market, and limit moves will happen more in thin markets, and you won't get good price fills. So you got to watch out for that. So all things together, make sure if you're algo trading that you keep your emotions in check and realize that you are going to have emotions if you're trading real money. Well, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Give me a comment. Let me know what kind of markets that you are trading and what kind of emotions are you experiencing. And please subscribe to my channel and I'll keep making more videos. I'm Kevin Davey. Have a great day.